All right, good afternoon. I was going to say morning, but I actually looked at my clock, it's already 12:17, so let's go ahead and get started. We actually have a lot of guests today, so I want to make sure I try to run through everybody. But first of all, we have Mayor John Bradbury with us today. If you like Johns Creek, you can thank him and his city council for the fact that Johns Creek is rated as one of the most livable, the most livable city in the United States, the most livable in its size, and one of the safest, etc. So thank you for being here. We have past District Governor Bill Strickland. Bill, great to see you. Usually we see you at district conferences and stuff, so nice to see you here today. And you picked a great day to come. By the way, I do know how to get people to show up for a Rotary meeting, just to announce that Marilyn is retiring. You can fill the whole room. That's my secret of the future. Chris Stewart is back with us. Say hi, Chris. Chris has been here a couple of times. He's actually with one of our sister clubs. But yes, so he's a colleague. We're not going to steal it, right? But he did bring Christine DeVecchio, who is John DeVecchio's colleague, who I've seen a couple of times. Greg Miner, who's actually a neighbor of mine in Several, and a patient at Dr. Bound. So, Greg, nice to see you and welcome. Who am I missing? Oh, we got Andrea Smith sitting next to Marilyn, who is Andrea is the executive assistant to Marilyn and chief medical officer at Emory Johns Creek Hospital, and she's really the person. I probably emailed her more than I emailed you, right, Marilyn?
Well, here's the thing, I'm taking her with me. So.
Yeah, right. Well, that's good. And obviously, we've got some other guests. Who am I missing? Did I miss anybody?
Julie.
Oh, Julie. Yeah, Julie, welcome
You're
back.
not a guest.
Really nice to see you. Did I miss anybody? Of course, we got Richard, Mike, etc. All right. Well, good. Let's go ahead. First of all, I understand you guys had a very nice social last week at Six Bridges. I don't think Charles is here in the room, but I tried to thank him separately. But thanks for showing up for that. And I understand we raised some decent amounts of money for polio, and according to Jim, he's still collecting funds. So I don't know exactly how much we're going to raise for World Polio Day, which was last Tuesday, but I'm sure it will be good. All right, why don't we go ahead and do the pledge? So, Marilyn, since you're the guest of honor today, why don't we do the pledge?
Thank you. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Alan, would you mind doing?
Father, it's always a time of change, and we just ask that you lead, guide, and direct us in our personal lives, in our business lives, as our country goes forward, as our world goes forward, that we can't avoid change, but we can try to guide it, try to direct it, and have it be for good. And we just ask that you give us pause in our time, in our daily life, to try to think of how we can make our world a better place and how we can improve the lives of our fellow man around us. This is no more apparent than areas of the world that are at war right now. And we just ask that you bring peace and understanding to those areas of the world as Rotary would want them to be. We ask that you help Rotarians bring health to the areas that need it, bring peace to the areas that need it, food, shelter to all those that need it. We ask that you bless this food. We ask that you bless every member that's here today and their businesses so that they will be fruitful and bring resources to bring this world a better place. In your name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Great. Good work. Thank you, Alan. And thank you for bringing your patients to the Rotary meeting. Now, I know you have a lot of patients, so.
I must say, I'm not the one that said he was a patient. He did. There are HIPAA laws.
Where's Richard? Now it's your turn. We've got to bring him in. We'll have a contest to see which doctor dentist can bring more members members who were potential members. So, well, thank you for coming. And by the way, I understand, like I said, that last week was great, but also thank you to Michelle Purple, who I know I said in my multiple notes and in the bulletin, thank you for coordinating these things as a chair of family of Rotary. So nice to meet you. And even though I couldn't be there, I did enjoy seeing the pictures when I was off with Charlotte with family. So I put agendas kind of out in front of everybody, specifically because we have a number of guests today that we don't necessarily know how the meeting kind of flows always. But some announcements. Don't forget that this Saturday at 9 o'clock in the morning, we are doing Daffodils for Hope again. So if you go in front of Emory Johns Creek and the medical office building on the far side near the parking deck that they built, all those daffodils that grow there have been planted by 2 Rotary clubs, us being one, the Emory and Johns Creek North Fulton Rotary Club with Emory. And so we'll be planting a few thousand more is what I understand. So that's on Saturday morning at 9 o'clock or so. Immediately after that, we're going to do, the board actually talked about doing a vocational session around 11 o'clock because that also helps us learn a little bit about Emory. And of course, we want to take advantage of Marilyn before she officially retires. So she's going to set up a short tour for us around 11 o'clock for anybody that can join on that. And that will be, I think, very interesting. I think you all know that Emory Hospital down the road is going to almost triple in size from its current state. So imagine the size of the hospital and the size and scope now. Down the road, it's going to be 3+ times bigger than what it is right now. Additional help pad, office buildings, all kinds of stuff. And that's already been approved and is in the works. So that's what's going on this Saturday. One other thing is the month of November. Let's not forget that we're going to do some things kind of gearing up towards Christmas and the holidays. Remember that we've always been a big supporter of the place in coming. And one of the things that we're going to do again is just like we did in July when we did the backpacks for the place. I spoke to their executive director, and we're going to be a ELF sponsor, which gives us a lot of recognition as a club. And we're also going to do and drive the toys and things like that for the place. Now the way we can do it is I'm going to send out a link because I asked you to send me a link to Amazon because I thought it might be easier for us as club members if I give you a link to Amazon where you can buy it and have it sent directly from Amazon versus everybody having to bring in all their stuff here, kind of like we did with the backpacks. Then we have to get the backpacks from here, like I did. I got to get them into my SUV and take them all up to the place of coming, which is fine, but it might be a little easier this way. So I'll communicate a little bit more on this this week, et cetera, as time goes on. So don't forget that next week we have a foundation discussion. That'll be on the 6th. That's going to be Gary, from what I understand, right? Is that correct, Marilyn?
Yes.
Okay. Don't also forget that we do not have a meeting on November 20th. I know all these things are in the bulletin, but I would not want somebody to show up on a Monday and go, where is everybody? So Monday of Thanksgiving week, we do not have a meeting. And also don't forget that the holiday party for our club is December 9th?
8th.
Is it 8th? Friday night, the 8th at Maryland's house. And further details of that will be coming, but just make sure you try to mark your calendar. That's Friday, December 8th, etc. Okay? Any other announcements that you guys think I've missed? Anything from the floor? Okay. All right. Good. Well, Marilyn, as you know, we set this up specifically to say we're celebrating Marilyn. Just to be clear, Marilyn's retiring from Emory Johns Creek Hospital. She's not retiring from Rotary. We're not going to let that happen. So the bottom line is that this is a special day to recognize Marilyn. Certainly, it's not the first. I've already been to some of them, and it's not the last. We've got another one to go to tonight. And by the way, the Chamber of Commerce for Johns Creek is recognizing Marilyn on Friday, I think it's the 9th of November. I think that is the 10th of November, thank you. I've already bought tickets. That is actually a celebration of Marilyn where they're going to give her their Lifetime Achievement Award. and that's being done at the Country Club South on that Friday. It's the 10th of November? Okay, sorry, I'm doing this from memory, so. All right, so the agenda today is, there's a bunch of people who I've talked to who are gonna come up and say a few words about Maryland. So, Matt, do you have a box of Kleenex over there?
I've been traveling with tissues, actually.
Marilyn.
So I could talk for a long time and I won't. I have been overwhelmed with the kindness of everyone. In Rotary, in the place that I work, Johns Creek, the hospital, Emory Healthcare, it's just been, it's just been so much fun I've seen people that I haven't seen in 40 years. The people that I started working with when I first started at Emory University Hospital came to these parties. And I'm so glad that they can't tell the stories from back then, because I'm like, yeah, we don't have to go back that far. And as I said, in one of the times that I spoke for a little while, this was a labor of love. This job has been a labor of love from the very beginning. And to be able to finish out my career in Johns Creek has been the biggest gift I could ever have. I am so grateful to all of you. I'm going to stay in the Rotary until you vote me out. And not Alan, he can't move me off. But thank you so much for everything. I did want to say one thing we had a party, the biggest party ever on Friday at the hospital. It was a party for the staff. And they gave me a road called Marilyn Way that goes around the hospital. They have this sign. So that's so crazy. And it's just been, it's too overwhelming to really talk about.
You have your own road now? Is that what you
I
just
have
said?
my own road. I have my own road. It's going to be on Google search,
That's very
Google
cool.
Earth and all that other stuff. So anyhow, what they said was, the only thing that's happened since I've been up here is it's been Maryland's way. And so they said thank you all.
Okay, so one of the nice things about being president of this club is that I actually get to put the agenda together. So, and part of putting the agenda together is I get to speak first. So that's one nice thing. I said that, one of the things about, speaking about Marilyn is it's very easy to speak about Marilyn because she's had a tremendous career, and I'm going to talk a little bit about that. But I just want to kind of read some of the thoughts that I had when I was doing this. I said, writing these things about Marilyn and recognizing her date was not hard. I get to say them first, and I think it represents all of us well. Anyone today has the opportunity to talk about Marilyn, and a number of people after me are going to get up and obviously want to say some words to celebrate a person who has had a storied career with Emory Johns Creek Hospital for more than 42 years. That in and of itself deserves a round of applause. And it's amazing how they hired you when you were like 10 years old or something. As a servant leader, Marilyn has never forgotten her roots. I've heard the stories of her childhood and how her past helped shape her future. And what a future it was. From her days as a candy striper, then to a nurse, to a teacher, to rising to the position of CEO of a great hospital, Marilyn has been a beacon in so many ways for her employees, for patients, for the community, and obviously for all of us here at Rotary. We say that the legacy of a person is how they are remembered, and that's true. In Marilyn's case, her star has been burning bright for so long that its light is going to last for years. Shining and continuing to change the lives of people, patients, the citizens of Johns Creek, and all of us in Rotary. You've probably all seen the movie It's a Wonderful Life. And I love that movie because it talks about how we each change the world, and sometimes we don't even realize our full impact. And Marilyn, you have changed the world. Your drive and passion for success and people has changed the lives of thousands and thousands of people. Your legacy lives on to all of those people, and for that, we thank you. Years from now, people are going to continue to remember Marilyn, not for what she was, but for who she was. A compassionate, caring, and driven individual, someone who was not afraid to take on tough challenges and who delivered results for everyone she touched and she came in contact with. You exemplify the principles of Rotary. Jobs end, as we all know. People and our memories of them do not. Your next chapter is going to be filled with great things, and we will be as exciting as all of your past chapters, I assure you. As our own Michael McCullough has said in the past, how we live our lives is indicated by the dash in our years, and your dash has certainly been remarkable. We thank you and celebrate you today and each and every day moving forward. We love you, Marilyn. You better stay seated, you'll be getting up a lot. So I'm going to ask Dr. Bounds if you wouldn't mind to come up and say a few words. So, kind of got an agenda.
Some of you know, some of you don't know. We're friendly adversaries. We challenge each other, and I think we both make each other better. We don't allow for average. And so our bantering back and forth is in love, but we do challenge each other. And I thought it was only appropriate that on a day where everybody's going to talk about your successes, that I'll be the one that would talk about your failures. She doesn't like sports. In fact, she really doesn't like college football. Can you believe that? I mean, she's been a failure at letting the next generation fail. You've mentored so many kids and helped lead Leadership Johns Creek for the youth. She was a failure at letting COVID kill Rotary. You kept great speakers and found locations and food for our club to meet during the lockdown time. You were a failure in turning in your points to gain the recognition you should have received for leading our club that year. I've always believed that we were the club of the year during your year as president. You've been a failure for letting others host a Christmas party. Your hospitality each year is something to treasure. You make us all feel welcome, including our spouses. You've been a failure for settling for okay. You've always strived for excellence in all the things that you're involved in, which leads me to the final failure. You've been a failure at saying no. And that's why you're on so many boards and organizations and involved in our community, because you care, and leaders always step up for the things that they care for. And so, here's to failing retirement.
Well, Marilyn, I hope we're all as big of failures when we retire. So, Lynn, would you like to come up, please?
Sure. Let's lose the failure.
So a couple of little known things, and check me on these, see if I understand. But one of the things that's always fascinated me about getting to know people is what they do outside of work and stuff. So one of the things first learned about Marilyn is that she has a motorcycle endorsement on her driver's license. Right? She can drive and park a Class A motorhome.
With Zoe.
With Zoe.
Yeah. So it's pretty amazing to me. And I would say one of the things that I really appreciated about Marilyn when I was the year that I was last year when I was president and stuff is I came to one of my first board meetings. I was probably the best term might be ill prepared. And Marilyn caught on right away and told me that, so many words that I needed to do better than that. So hopefully I did. pretty overtime. And I guess one of the last things I would say, there's a couple of things, but she was the recipient of the Lee Airedale Award this past year. So extremely proud of Marilyn for achieving that for vocational excellence, one of the district level awards. And one of the things that I said when I introduced Marilyn, she started out her career as a cardiac nurse, caring for the hearts of her patients, and she's now caring for the hearts of our community.
Wow.
So, love you, Marilyn.
Ranger, would you like to come up, please?
So, when Emory Johns Creek announced that they had a new CEO, and her name was Marilyn Margolis, I was coming into a history of disappointment with the CEOs of Emory Johns Creek and their willingness to be involved in this club, to be involved in the chamber, to be really engaged and involved in the community. And Marilyn changed all of that. She, I think, immediately joined the Rotary Club and the chamber, and I was impressed by that. And I met her, and of course she's very friendly, fun to talk to, has a great energy around her. I'm not sure whether it was I think it was a Johns Creek Chamber gala when I thought that I might actually really like this person. And that was when I caught her on the dance floor barefoot. Just sort of being her own self and not being concerned about conformity. She wanted to dance, and the very practical shoes that she was wearing were not sufficiently practical to allow her to dance in the way that she wanted to dance. And she was out there just boogieing on the dance floor, and I thought that was great. And then I found out at some point during the process that she drove a Porsche. And I think it might have been, was it a manual transmission? A manual transmission Porsche. And not like the big, like a 911 Boxer. And I'm thinking, okay, this is a surprising individual. She does things differently everywhere around her. And those two things that happened, those two realizations that struck me, and that was before I was ever in a group that she was leading, before she was the leader of this club, before she was the chairman of the Johns Creek Chamber of Commerce. And then I just became incredibly impressed with the diversity of gifts that she has, and her hospitable way of doing things. Not only did she invite everybody in this club to her house to do the gift exchange and have a catered meal during the holiday season, but she transformed the way the Chamber of Commerce does its board meetings, and she insisted that we all do the board meetings at the hospital in one of their large facilities, nice, lovely room with PowerPoint screen and everything, and have the hospital provide dinner to the group. So she took these sort of, periodic, board meetings that you got to go to, and she converted that into something fun that you look forward to, that you enjoy, and you feel like this sense of privilege, just being, oh my gosh, we get to come to this incredible facility and we're treated as honored guests, and so that's when I thought, I might actually love this person. And then one time, I was wandering around her home. One of the, Christmas gatherings or holiday gatherings, and like lived in medicine cabinets and stuff. I'll wander into this random little door, and there it is. Proof positive that I love this woman. It's a ping pong table. There are no children in her house, and she has a ping pong table. We've never played, but it's on my bucket list that I will one day play ping pong with Marilyn Margolis. Yeah, I need to come early.
Yeah.
But the last thing I'll say is that, I love joking about this, that she and I are friends, and she's the CEO of a hospital, and I'm a medical malpractice. I think that there are many medical malpractice lawyers out there, and I represent the patients, not the hospital, not the doctors. There are many people in my position that would love to have a friend who is the CEO of a local hospital. But I guarantee you that Marilyn Margolis is the only CEO of a hospital in existence that is even open to the possibility of being friends with a plaintiff's personal injury medical malpractice. I just think, I think that, you hit the joke about Maryland's Way. Maryland Way is the name. Maryland Way is the name of the street around the hospital now, and it immediately occurred to me that the sort of poetry of that, because the way you do things is so special, and so unusual, and so loving and welcoming and smart and efficient, that I am mourning for the community of Johns Creek that there is less than 100% of Marilyn Margolis available to us. So, thank you.
Is that box getting kind of low over there? So, Amy and William are going to play a little something for you. Yeah. Never let it be said that we don't work behind the scenes, right? So you can blame Andrea for this too, right?
Sorry, we're missing something. Okay, while Amy is getting this, I want to say a few things. I'm so glad that I have my instrument in my hand, because after feel such an eloquent and a beautiful speech, I feel very inadequate to speak. As a musician, and I speak for my wife too, Amy, and as a musician, we're in the music and the arts world and for our whole life. And so with Marilyn, have so many titles on her head. And what has impressed me most is I have not met a few, those very well-known people who actually love the arts and the music. And Marilyn is such a special, extraordinary individual that we really feel fortunate that we come to Johns Creek while Marilyn's still there for the past few years. We certainly wish you have a wonderful, well-deserved relaxation in the retirement. And also, you may find some new adventures. And so we prepared two pieces. And I thought it's funny, it's composed by Shostakovich, Russian at that time, Soviet. And but this piece is first piece is kind of described how Marilyn relaxed in the retirement. And the second piece is more like Marilyn's finding some new adventure. So enjoy.
right, so I know there's a lot of Rotary clubs out there, but you tell me how many can do that. I challenge anybody.
Yeah,
Okay?
none of them can do that.
What is it, like 560 districts or whatever? We have 71 clubs, I think, in our district, right? I bet none of them have these days. We'll wait you guys out, by the way. Thank you, that was great.
I don't know if I can follow that.
Wait till the end.
Well, Marilyn, you know, I consider you a good friend, and I don't know if you know how much of a mentor you've been to me. I'm not gonna be able to get to this. But, you know, when you're banking, when you're feuding banking, there's not many role models to follow, and especially if you're not in a quarter city. And so you've always been that person that I've watched. And just learn by your example, and you fed me and given me strength. And there's a quote that says, "Be the woman that fixes another woman's crown without telling the world it was crooked." And that's what you've done for me, especially as when I was president of Rotary. So things are going sideways. I could always look over at Marilyn, and she would either give me the video or the kind of the stuff that can help you with that. And you've been that leader, that role model for me. I love you. You've done it to so many people. Congratulations on an amazing career. And thank you to all the women out there who you have supported and fixed their grounds.
I really need a bed.
Before I share my own thoughts, Bob Osthower could not be here today because he's out of town for a nephew's wedding. And so I am playing the understudy role of Bob Osthower. But anyhow, but he said to me that he liked to read, and he says, "The day Marilyn made me a rock star." He said, years ago, a coworker had a daughter in high school that wanted to have a career in medicine very badly. So I mentioned that I knew Marilyn, happened to know Marilyn, the CEO of Emory Johns Creek Hospital. I mentioned this young lady's interest in medicine to Marilyn, and she said, "Have her reach out to me." This young lady contacted Marilyn, and one thing led to another, and she ended up with a summer job internship that she absolutely loved. Ever since then, every time I see this young lady, she calls me a rock star. I started coming to Rotary galas long before I became a part of Rotary, thanks to Michael McCullough. And I would see Marilyn Margolis, CEO of Emory Johns Creek, up there speaking, talking about everything that the hospital had done. And so when I started visiting the club, I must admit that I was in awe of Marilyn. And perhaps just a little afraid of her. Thanks to lots of different things that wove their way together, Marilyn and I became Rotary cohorts in crime. We planned the holiday parties together, we planned socials together, we planned subsequent galas together. And during that process, she became a dear and cherished friend to me, and she still scares me just a little. Keep me in mind. But one of the things that means the most to me is it's one thing if you have a friend who does something for you. It's quite another when they're willing to do something for your child. And that was something that Marilyn stepped up and did for my daughter, Courtney. And so Courtney wrote something to me, and she wanted me to read it to you. I said, "Marilyn, happy retirement. I remember first meeting you at a Rotary holiday party as a nursing student. And you were so kind to offer me an internship at Emory Johns Creek Hospital to help me get my career started. Even with all of your important responsibilities as CEO at Emory Johns Creek, you genuinely cared about everyone who walked through those hospital doors. Even just a young nursing student who knew absolutely nothing but was excited about the opportunity. Throughout my time working in the ICU, everyone talked about you with such admiration and respect. You've raised the bar for our nursing profession, and you've demonstrated how to lead with grace and compassion. I truly aspire to be half the nurse and half the leader you are one day. Whoever takes over at Emory Johns Creek has the biggest shoes to fill. Wishing you nothing but the best, and looking forward to it. I remember Courtney calling me after she went to the hospital for her first meeting about this internship. And she was like, Mom, you are not going to believe this. Marilyn met me at the door and walked me to, what was the girl's name that she was meeting with? Nursing. Yeah. And I hope on the spot. I can't remember. But anyway, walked her to the door, personally introduced her, and she was like, with everything that she has to do, the fact that she would take the time out of her day to know where my appointment was and to meet me at the door and to escort me there and make me feel comfortable. She said that just made such an impact on her. And I will tell you, even though, despite Marilyn's best efforts and my best efforts, she ended up leaving Emory Johns Creek Hospital and moving to North Carolina. But every single hospital she has worked at, she holds up to the standard of Emory Johns Creek and Marilyn's leadership there. And she'll call me, and she frequently says, Marilyn could never done that. And, or she'll call me with a question about something career-wise or a decision she's making, and she's like, what did Marilyn do? I was like, what did you do? So anyway, you've been an important part of our family and our history, and the fact that you would spend that much effort into our daughter makes Rich and I very happy to be your friend, and that's one reason why I wanted to be here to celebrate you today as well. So I love you. Thank you.
So you're not done yet, Marilyn. So, I do have one other person who I've asked to come up, but does anybody else would like to come up and say anything before I call on my final person, so to speak? Then we got some stuff from Marilyn. So I just wanted to say, Suke, that what you said, really resonates. My wife volunteers at Emory Hospital, as Marilyn knows, and I sit on the board, and so I have the privilege of hearing all this every single month about the hospital. And I remember talking to the past board chair of Emory Hospital, and I said, so what really drove your decision when you brought Marilyn on board? And the comment was, because we just knew that she was the right person, because she leads from the heart. And she walks around, she talks to the employees. I can't tell you the number of people I've heard say to me over the years that Marilyn knows the name of probably every employee in that hospital. And there's over 1,200 employees in that hospital. And I'll bet you anything you know every single one of their names. So what you said was right on. Mayor Bradbury, would you like to come up, please? Very great.
The marathon is great, but sometimes the day is filled with a lot of different appointments and meetings. Sometimes some of the details kind of get a little blurred, and so I just try to get there on time, and today was 4 o'clock noon Rotary, Maryland. So when they put you in the chair up there, I thought, okay, so it's a rose. I just have to say, this has been one of the most confusing, but nicest I've ever witnessed. I have not known you as long as all these folks have. Obviously, you've been a huge part of the community, like we talked about before. Your career at Emory Johns Creek has tracked the city's growth and founding. But what I'm particularly excited about is really the future, because I know that now we're going to have more of your time to potentially get involved in some of the different things that we want to do from a community standpoint. And so I'm looking very forward to the next chapter. And I just want to invite all of you, so at the next Johns Creek City Council meeting on November 14th, our meeting starts at 7 o'clock. We'll be doing an official commemoration proclamation for Marilyn, and just highlighting her career it was a little struggle, because normally it's on one page, and we're kind of like, anyway, so we're looking forward to that, and I all you to be a part of that as well, so I love it. She wants me to say something more spicy.
November 14th, you said, right?
Yes.
2 weeks from Monday, right? Well, that would be great. So Marilyn, we have a couple of closing gifts for you. So like you said, I'm gonna hand this to you, so you actually have to put the box of Kleenex down. Sorry. But this is to you. You go wherever you like. Yes. It's on the side, the box. I just left the box. It's on the side.
Presented to Marilyn Margolis, thank you for changing the world and congratulations on your retirement. Rotary Johns Creek.
We're gonna have to get a bigger camera to do group photos at the end.
Yeah.
We're gonna need a bigger boat, so to speak. So Suki, I know you have something as well for Marilyn, so.
Basket. Imagine that. Maybe you'll see the basket again.
Shirts.
Yeah.
Shirts. This is a gift made up of individual contributions from all the members of the club. And I have to tell you, I was overwhelmed with the response from you all. You are loved. You are loved big. And so what is in here is, well, I thought we were going to have to give this to you because of your 42 years of Emory and all the hard work and everything like that. You know, a spa, rest and relaxation day. Now I realize that you're going to need it to recover from all the parties, exhibitions, and events that you've made. But this is just a small token of the basket of the things are in it. But what's mainly in here is a complete and total rest and relaxation spa day at Chateau Nolan. Yes. And everything.
My girl.
And all the things that go along with it. We love you. There you go. That was the plan.
Oh my gosh. Mark, let your Sylvester will use.
So the great news about Marilyn, just so you know, is that she's going to stay involved on the board at Emory Johns Creek Hospital, and I'm sure she'll stay involved in many other things. And somebody actually asked me the other day, actually when you announced your retirement, one of the other boards I'm on said, well, do you think we'll see less of Marilyn? I said, no, I don't think so. I don't think that's the way Marilyn works. I don't think her idea of retirement is sitting at home, whatever, watching reruns on television. But here's congratulations to you. Would you like to say anything? Or you?
I might be able to say a few words. I'm a little speechless. I'd like to say to the people that are here that may not know this Rotary as well as some of the other of us do, this really is what Rotary is about. This is about supporting each other. This is about being kind to each other. It's about when anybody's in need that we come to their side. When I look around these rooms, I see all of you, and I know each one of you does that every day. And so thank you from the bottom of my heart for saying all these lovely things about me and skipping all the not so lovely things that have happened. But know that I couldn't love a community more than this community. I thank the two of you for that. Randall and Mayor Bradbury for keeping this community where it needs to be, and I look forward to many more years with this Rotary and many more years in the city, so thank you very much.
All right, and as we know, no meeting would be complete without the four-way test, and guess who gets to do it?
All right, everybody. Four-way
test of the things we think, say, or do. First is the truth. Second is the officer.
We're gonna get a couple of stills, and the secret is that's actually a video camera. It's running this whole time. It's catching all of your. Don't worry. We'll find the best one. All right, we got a couple stills here. Post some here. Just in case. That's lovely, guys.
What about you, Chuck? Get in here.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I'm gonna let that sit there for
Definitely get the